All right, hi Pisces. So I've got a reading for you today. We're using the Mary L Tarot and the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. So you got the Temperance card from the Mary L. This tiger. Okay, and on the bottom, you got the King of Wands. Raw. Okay. And from the Dreams of Gaia, you got the Nine of Earth. This just came through during a collective reading. So we're going to see if that has anything to do with your reading, any of those messages. Okay. And then on the bottom, we have the Two of Water. Such a beautiful card. It's come out quite a bit in the readings that I live. Okay. All right, so we're going to do, so you have some messages here. So we have August, self-learn, ... I can, ... Coraline, Munchausen syndrome, and sacrifice. So, I just want to preface, before we even begin, just because we have Munchausen syndrome here, normally when some of these like harder messages or like, you know, triggering things come through, I just want to clarify I'm not a doctor. I don't have any kind of degree in regards to this. It's just like based upon what I know. And so I just want to make that very clear. Okay, so with Temperance here, Temperance is about alchemy, blending things together to create something new, to temper something. We have a lot of water here with the tiger. So the tiger can represent like the fire, like passion. And then we have the water, it being in the waves. So tempering something. This tiger energy. Tiger energy is very important to me in my life. I actually have two tigers on my walls here. Just seeing if that's important in some way with this message. We'll see. Okay. All right, and it's clarifying the King of Wands. So this is the card of Ra, the Egyptian god Ra. So fire, being at the top of the suit, responsible. The kings have come through a lot in the readings lately, in the collective and in the individual readings. A lot of king energy. So fire, creativity, passion. How you stoke something. But this like responsibility. Because the kings, I've already mentioned this quite a few times, so you probably, if you've watched my other videos, you probably have already heard this, but the kings are responsible. Like they've made it to the tops of their mountain, like so to speak. They've reached a peak in the energy. They have a responsibility to wield their energy because there's people looking up to them. So they're almost like, they have almost a form of control, even if it's just like something, even if it's just something perceived. They have a level of control, which almost gives them a level of responsibility when people are looking up to you or looking up to this energy to wield it correctly. In the collective reading, I was talking about fire, the King of Fire, not using its energy to coerce people, to draw them in, kind of like by creating like you could almost say like an illusion. It can charm. It's good at charming people. And not that that's a bad thing. Like, charming can be seen differently. Just, it's basically when something is charming something to come in so that it can use it and take from it and then almost just like disregard it. That was kind of the example I was giving. Whereas when the King of Wands just like walks its truth, it naturally brings people to it. It's fire. It's naturally going to bring the people who need the warmth, who are coming to it. Like, you can think of like a bonfire on a cold day. Naturally going to bring that energy in. It doesn't need to coerce. It just needs to walk in its truth. Okay, so then we have here the Nine of Earth. So yes, this came through in the collective reading as showing up. But that was the thing that was so odd, because Nine of Earth typically represents someone who is like in a solo energy. They're in their own garden. They're looking at everything that they've created and sown. It's very much a card of like self-recognition of your resources, of what you've created. Yeah. But it was coming up as a showing up for other people in the collective reading. So we're gonna see if that has anything to do with your reading. Oh, well, we have the Two of Water, clarifying the Two of Water, which is about relationships, love, bringing your cup to someone else, intimacy. Showing up. Okay. All right, so now let's get into the messages. So, okay, so I actually pulled you guys this reading last night, and it's been sitting on my desk today as I've been getting other things done. But a message came through earlier today with August. But I'm going to go through kind of like what I was first like seeing. So August can just either represent the month, it can represent someone's name. We have it sitting here right underneath the King of Wands, which is the beginning of August is Leo season. And the King of Wands can represent Leo, fixed fire, wielding the fire. Yeah. So August can also represent Lion's Gate. But we just have August right here. So that could just be an important month, either last August, this August coming up, or just an August. Maybe there's just like some kind of importance here with August. Okay, then we have, I'm going to come back around to something that I saw earlier today, but we're going to come back around to that. I just kind of want to see where this goes. So then we have self-learn ... And normally when there's a ... I say the card or the message right after it, like self-learn, blah, blah, blah. But then we have another ... message right after that one. So we have self-learn, I can, Coraline. Self-learn, I can. Learning something. So I have DIY, the message DIY in here. That didn't come out. So self-learning and I can. Like maybe even affirmations. Like I can do this. Self-learning and I can in regards to Coraline. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to get stuck on that. So let's go ahead and go to Coraline and see what this is about. So Coraline is a movie, and it's about a girl. This girl who moves to a new home, and her parents are kind of busy to give her attention. Like, and she kind of finds her own, she kind of creates her own stuff. So anyway, so she gets absorbed into this like other world where she has parents that are like attentive and taking care of her, feeding her good food, sewing her the clothes that she wants. So she almost goes into this like different reality. And at first she kind of gets like sucked into it because obviously that reality seems better than the reality, her actual reality back at home, where her parents are just busy, there's no food in the refrigerator, she's bored, they've just moved to this new place. And so she finds comfort in this other world, but it's an illusion. There's a beldam that's weaving an illusion. So we're going to see what that has to do, because we have Munchausen syndrome sitting right next to it. So I actually looked this up earlier just to make sure that I am very clear on what I'm saying. But Munchausen syndrome is when a person invents a situation where they are sick in order to get sympathy, or in order to have attentive care, you could even say. So something is invented. So it's not an actual sickness, it's a psychological issue. And like people, I'm sure you've seen this in movies plenty of times, or like in doctor TV shows where like someone, you know, goes through different lengths to sicken themselves to have people taking care of them. But the only reason why I'm thinking of the other one, so this could go two different ways. We're going to play with the energy. This could also be metaphorical. Like, I don't want to just, yeah, we're just going to see where this goes. But since we have Coraline sitting right next to it, this is a child. And I don't have Munchausen, is it Munchausen syndrome by proxy or Munchausen by proxy? Whichever it is. I don't have that in my thing. And since we have this child right next to Munchausen syndrome, it's like kind of making me think that. But that might not have anything to do with it, or it might just be different for everyone's story. Excuse me. So Munchausen by proxy is a situation where a parent does this to a child, or a caregiver, or a guardian, um, creates, um, could even just be an illusion. Like, we're gonna see what this is. So, but it's I don't know if I can say that. It's a form of abuse. Let's just put it like that. Okay. So then we have sacrifice as the last message here. So sacrifice, something that has been given up for something else. And sacrifice can go different ways for everyone. Like, sometimes, like, there's good sacrifices that you make for other things. And sometimes, like, there's other sacrifices that are made because there's an illusion of no choice. So we're going to see what that's about. I kind of want to, yeah, okay. Yeah. So let's go back through this with August, and now I'm going to get very much more in depth with the messages and the cards together. I just kind of wanted to look at these messages first. So August being under King of Wands, I've already kind of gone through this one, you know, but this could also represent, okay, so in the last collective reading, there was a couple things coming out with like politics and race. I'm not going to bring that into here. But I mentioned something. I was talking about politics, like going on to the other side of the fence to just understand the other person, understand people's beliefs, and understanding, like, humanizing people. And so I mentioned fence. And so earlier today, I was looking at something. I'm not going to say how it all came about, but I was looking at something, and across my screen, August Wilson, I believe that's his name, August Wilson, he was a playwright, and he's since passed on, and Denzel Washington inherited his estate and his playwrights. And so, and that's the only reason I'm thinking about that, because Fences was one of the movies that was created based on his work. And race was also a part of that last reading. So, and then you have August right here, sitting right underneath the King of Wands. So it just makes me think of August Wilson. And he wrote 10 plays, I believe, for each decade of the 20th century. And Denzel Washington is wanting to create every single one of them. I think 3 of them have already been made. But one of them is called Fences, and it's actually free on YouTube. That's I'm planning on watching that sometime in the next few days. It's free to watch. And just because it's come out here, that's really the reason why I'm mentioning this. So, but this could just really mean something different for you. This could literally just mean the month of August. Whether that's like early August, Leo season with this King of Wands here, or even the beginning of Virgo season, or Lionsgate. Yeah, I know people do different things for Lionsgate. I guess that just, if that's important to you, maybe go back and look at what intentions you were setting, or what was important around August 8th. What were you asking for? What were you calling in? Yeah, what intentions were you setting? Like, just around that date. Okay. You know, Yeah, August 8th is actually my South Node. That exact day is the exact degree of my South Node. And so the only reason why I even pay attention to Lionsgate is because it's an important part in my chart. But that might be something significant for you. I know I did something significant for Lionsgate. So maybe just understanding, because it sounds like something's kind of coming back around. Like something, yeah, just something important with August is coming back around. So, okay, so then we have the self-learn. And self-learn is sitting underneath the tiger. So learning something, learning how to, excuse me guys, my nose is kind of running. Learning how to alchemize something or alchemize a situation. Because we have this tiger energy here splashing in the water. So tiger energy is connected to fire and water. It's one of the only cats, if I remember, that likes the water, that can swim and hunt in the water. Self-learning something. This tiger. Self-learning this tiger, this passionate energy. I'm not being drawn to the passion being out of control because he's in the water and he's playing. It almost feels like a healthy balance of this energy. Whereas other temperance cards are requiring that more balance come in. It's literally a tiger, this fire playing in the water. Self-learning this, self-learning how to play in the water with your fire without putting it out. Because we have the King of Wands here, which there's nothing that's going to put out a King of Wands fire. He's kind of like a, if you think of Ra, he's a sun god. Like try putting that out. You know, he's kind of like the epitome of the solar energy. So this energy kind of playing in the water. Self-learning, So maybe that is about like learning how to bring your fire into the water. Okay, I don't want to get stuck. I'm not sure where this is going just yet. So, okay, then I can. And I can is sitting partially underneath the tiger energy. And then somewhat like slightly underneath this 9 of earth. I can. An I can attitude. Thinking of Nike, just do it. Just do it. Like self-motivation, which can be hard sometimes. Like, you know, really, it can be hard to be motivated to do stuff that you're not like feeling this energy for. So it can almost be like, understanding what's inspiring something, understanding what's going to motivate you or motivate this I can attitude. Watch like Michael Jordan videos. That's literally like, I mean, talk about inspiring videos. Like I get really motivated when I watch Michael Jordan videos or Kobe Bryant. Really Michael Jordan is my favorite. But both of them, like their work ethic, their mentality is just like infectious. They very much had those attitudes, like I can attitude. And both of them were talking about how it doesn't matter if you have talent at something unless you're putting in the work and the practice and getting better and better. That's really where success is. The action behind the talent. This fire. Okay, so then we have Coraline. So I can Coraline. I can Coraline. Self-learned Coraline. I can Coraline. Okay. So Coraline coming out underneath this. This sounds like a highly independent child. Because if you're thinking about like someone who's independent, with Coraline, yeah. A highly independent child, highly independent at a new venture. We have Coraline here. And the movie sounds like it's important because we have the Munchausen thing right next to it. I'm trying to figure out if this movie, like what part of this movie is important. Because she goes into a different reality because she believes things are better over there. Or there's like something over there that she's wanting. Like she's wanting her parents to be better at like taking care of her. She's wanting good food to be in the refrigerator. She's wanting her parents to be engaging. She's wanting her parents to dress her in clothes that she likes. And when she's in her normal reality, they're just busy on their computers trying to get like their work done for this project that's due. They just moved to a new city. There's kind of like this, there's a whole bunch of lack at that current moment. Yeah, so it's because she's wanting more. She's wanting something. She's needing something. Like, you know, children need like that kind of affection and care and like to know that they're loved, to know that they're supported, you know. Even like just good food, you know, in the refrigerator is grounding for children. Okay, so then we have Munchausen syndrome. It's sitting between this 9 of earth and also the 2 of water. Munchausen syndrome. I'm trying to see like metaphorically what it would mean. Like the invention of something for more attention. Something created for more attention. Psychological. This is a hard one, guys. Like, normally I don't, like, okay. If we're talking about, even, like, psychological, okay. Since Coraline is sitting right next to it, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like bring in the biproxy. I was kind of wanting to like avoid that. But they're sitting right next to each other and they're both sitting with this 9 of earth energy. So biproxy is when a parent, it's the parent wanting attention, it's the parent wanting sympathy, it's the parent wanting, so like physically, I think most people have seen this in like movies. There's that one girl, that one movie, oh, I forgot her name. I think her name is like Rose or something like that. But her mom basically tells her she's sick her entire life and is doing stuff to make her sick and weak. And so people come over and are bringing gifts, and they're raining like sympathy onto the, you know, them. And so it's a psychological issue and it's considered abuse. And so I'm thinking like metaphorically here, like even a parent making a child feel sick or feel less than or feel for sympathy, for attention, for whatever this is. Like, I just heard belittling. Yeah. Yeah. So that's sitting, because it's sitting right next to Coraline, and Coraline is sitting underneath this energy. Maybe even someone having to take control. A self-sufficient child, a self-sufficient energy, maybe even breaking away from whatever this is. Getting away from what's making you sick, or what's even creating an illusion around you, or whatever this energy represents to you. There's some kind of like psychological issue here. I'm just trying to like, it's going to be very different for everyone what this is even about, and it might not have anything to do with Munchausen syndrome. It might just be like some kind of even like a generational curse. That's another feeling, like having, like, limiting someone, making someone feel less than for whatever reason. I'm thinking about Kronos. The god Kronos devoured his children because he didn't want them to be bigger or better than him. Okay, let's move it along. Okay, so then we have sacrifice here. So Munchausen syndrome is sitting halfway underneath this card and halfway underneath the 9 of Earth, but also sacrifice is sitting under this card. Sacrifice with love. Maybe things have had to be sacrificed with love. Maybe even this thing has sacrificed love in some way. You know, it also reminds me of, what is that? Where mothers with their children make them dependent on them and make, like, try to keep them as little children forever. It's actually called something. I can't remember what it's called. Where they try to keep them at like little children forever because of how they talk to them and how they treat them. And it's a psychological like weaponing. Um, and it can almost prevent like actual like love coming in, like prevent them from hitting their maturation and being able to find like partners, because they're almost like stuck in like a child energy. This could mean like, you know, fathers, I guess, too. Just, I know most commonly it's mothers and their boys. It's called something. I can't think of it right now. Where they purposely try to keep them small by how they talk to them. It's a psychological behavior. It's psychological conditioning. And it's underneath this sacrifice. Like they almost like to make them dependent on their mothers so that they and that you could just say that sacrifices love. That sacrifices these kind of partnerships, even like where the partners are, you know, you could say dependent on each other, or bringing in something healthy. But sacrifice. But also this could be different because, you know, if you think about sacrifice, we make sacrifices in everything that we do when we choose one way opposed to another way. Like even parents deciding to have children, they're literally sacrificing parts of their independence to make room for this child, which they know that they're going to have to tend to and take care of. They're sacrificing parts of their life to bring a child in. Like loving, that's a loving sacrifice. But like sacrifices even, so this could have, let's get away from this Munchausen thing. And think of just like love. Sacrifices that you make for love. Sacrifices that you make in love. For your partner, for a relationship, for what you want. Like, what do I need to do? Or what do I even need to sacrifice to be able to create the loving relationship that I want? To be the partner that I want to be able to have the partner that I want. To be like simple things like that too. Sorry guys, the Munchausen thing just I don't want to like disrespect that energy, whatever that is, because obviously it came out for a reason. I just wanted to be very careful and thorough with it. Okay. And so let's kind of go back over here, just kind of go back through it and see what else comes out now. So I was talking about the Fences with August, the movie Fences, and Denzel Washington is in it. But yeah, King of Wands, being responsible with the fire that is wielded, how you wield fire. Allowing people to be naturally drawn in. Like if you think of like yourself as like a bonfire, you know, and people, like the right people are going to come in when you are just like holding that position where there's no like coercion of like having to draw people in. When you just embody the fire that you exist in, you're going to bring the right people in. You're going to bring in the people that actually need your real fire, not artificial fire, your fire. Raw energy. So in that other reading, Game Boy came out, and this was almost about like role playing. I'm just thinking about that since we have Ra here, which is a god. And in my own life, I've done a lot of embodiment work around god and goddess energy. And I'm just like thinking of him as like a sun god, and maybe like role playing with yourself, like, or whatever this has to do with. But a lot of embodiment work is about you. It's about healing. It's about the alchemy of your energy, bringing in something new, understanding your power, understanding your capabilities, like understanding that goddess within you, like whatever this has to do with, like understanding the Ra within you. Like, what does your Ra look like? Like, just playing with that. Just, I don't know if there's any, like, embodiment exercises on Ra. Not that I've seen, at least. Maybe there is. I haven't done, like, really this goddess, god embodiment work in a long time. I used to be very much into that in my late 20s and early 30s, but maybe there is a Ra embodiment video out there now. I don't know. Maybe just look into this. Maybe just study Ra more. With August underneath it, maybe it might help alchemize something that happened in August, or prepare you for something in August, or if this is just to do with Lion's Gate for you. Okay, and then self-learning this tiger energy, playing in the water. So I'm just going to bring this up just because it's important in my life, and it's actually in my room here. I actually have 2 tiger pictures in my room here that I got a long time ago, and it was when I was very much into the whole like twin flame thing, like years ago, when it was more of like a spiritual thing for me. And I got the tigers because that's very much like my kind of my energy. And so anyways, this is the divine masculine one. And then I have the divine feminine one up above here on this bookshelf. And she's holding the lantern. So he's yelling and almost like, you know, putting out his call, like whatever you want to call that. Like he's putting out his force into the world. He's looking for something, and almost like this lantern coming up and shining the light for him, like, you know, the matching of energy. I could probably word that better. Just okay, so the divine feminine, just very briefly, since we have this kind of love sitting here, I'm gonna do it briefly. So the divine feminine is more so a force. We have this fire here. Yeah. So she's like the hearth fire. And she's just like ignited within, and she burns. And that's naturally what's going to draw in, like, you could say potential partners, or even your twin flame, if that's what you believe in. I have a more alchemical understanding of that nowadays. But you know, everyone believes something differently. So she's naturally like lit up, and she's naturally drawing him in, and he's the one that's like, so she's like a stable force. Like you could even say she is the hearth fire burning in her home, and he is the active force coming to find her. Very much like animals in the wild, you know. We have this tiger energy here, you know, like coming to find her. He looks active. That doesn't look like, well, whatever it means for you. maybe getting into more like primal energy. Yeah, getting more into primal energy, even like primal work with animal energy. I used to do a lot of that a long time ago as well. I still very much work in that energy, and tiger is a very important one for me. Trying to see what I need to say here. If this is to do with like partnerships, like, okay, I'm trying to decide what to say, because we have some serious stuff here, so I don't want to like okay, so something that I do, and that I very much, it's work that I do, is I love learning about like courtship behaviors in animals and like mating behaviors. And it's just like extremely, like, I feel like it's something that we've almost forgotten. But I also have a deep respect of like how to wield this, because we have this King of Wands right here. So it's we were talking about in another collective reading about the bad side of the King of Wands and its sexual energy. Okay, so just briefly, so it's about respect. That's the biggest part that I'm gonna say right here. It's respecting people. So especially when you're working with like primal energy, that can be highly if you're using it in like a sexual way, learning how to just respect the energy. Like if you say you're going to do something with someone and you're making like, if you're wanting to draw them in and you make some like promises, make sure you follow through on those. Because if you're thinking about like this King of Fire and this primal energy, that can hurt people, really hurt people. It can bring people in, get their trust, use it, and then discard it. That destroys people's innocence, and can very much harm people, especially with like primal energy, because that can be, you know, if you think about animals in the wild, not every animal in the wild is monogamous. And so it's also about understanding the person, or if this is like multiple people, who they are. Like, if someone is like intending on like a monogamous relationship, even with like tiger energy is not necessarily monogamous. Just understanding what someone else is wanting. Like if you're wielding a certain energy, understanding the other person and respecting what they're desiring, and not using, if you're coming in with this like extreme King of Wands here, this extremely like primal energy, just about respect and understanding other people. But primal energy is it's sexy, it's enticing, it's quite beautiful when it's used in a respectful way. Okay, and then you have the I can right next to it. An I can attitude. I can. Just do it. Just think about the Nike thing. Yeah, just because King of Wands is here, I just wanted to make that very, very like, because King of Wands can hurt people really bad when it's not, and I'm talking from experience as well. Just understanding that even if you believe something, not everyone else believes what you believe. And coming in with like King of Wands energy, and then someone like believing that they're going to receive something else, and then like walking away even. can hurt, just hurt other people. I've been in that position before, so yeah. So I've been in both positions, actually. I know very much both sides of that. Okay, so then yeah, I can is also, so self-learn and I can, both of those are sitting underneath the tiger energy. So just, that sounds like something that would be quite beautiful here, especially if you're in this kind of relationship right here. Okay, then with Coraline, so so that's another thing. So in the collective reading, I was mentioning Game Boy, being able to go into something and have an experience and then be able to come back into your own life. And that's kind of what this Coraline energy is reminding me of, being able to go into an experience and then come back into your reality. So like even with like primal energy, if this is about like just sex, you know, like being able to like be in a primal state with your partner, have that experience and then like come back into reality, like into who you are, and like aftercare. I think everyone knows that aftercare is very important, depending on what you're doing. And just like, you know, like coming back to center with yourself, with each other, if that's what that has to do with, or understanding that better just within your own life. Okay, then we have with the Coraline, so now we're going to get back into the harder topics here. Hold on, guys. Okay. Oh, all right. Munchausen syndrome. So this, okay. So recently, there's been a court case. I forgot the name of it, but I've been watching it. My dad loves to watch court TV, and I watch court TV with him. And there's been a case, there's been two big cases that have been showing. But one of them is about this woman who basically told everyone she had cancer. And so for years, she'd been telling everyone she had cancer, that she had like these life insurance policies and like, you know, this person was on it, you know. She didn't have cancer. She didn't have any of that. None of that was real. But this person that she told them that she put them on her life insurance policy that didn't exist, and told them it was like $1.5 million or something. Well, this person killed her. And I'm not going to get around like into like deep into everything that happened, all the nuances, but so this person created this entire story to gain sympathy from everyone. And if you listen to like all the text messages, everything was about her sickness. And when you like really think about it, like this person did not have cancer. They did not have a life insurance policy, yet every conversation was about this and needing sympathy. And if you really think about that, that person literally wasted everyone else's time basically to get attention and sympathy. It's a psychological disorder. And yeah, but that's a very real case of like very real like situations that can happen because of like lying and creating stories. But since we have, so that might be like, and you can even think about this in a metaphorical way, just like storytelling can harm people, can waste people's time, and people can be very angry if they find out that you've wasted their time, or if you find out that they've wasted your time. So I don't know why that came through like that, but yeah, just because I've been watching a case with that kind of energy. But we have it sitting next to Coraline, so this could very much be about by proxy. Or in escapism. Let's just think about Coraline. The child was escaping from it. This a parent or parents so this could be even like, I was kind of talking about that Kronos energy where Kronos devours its child, and like the mother, keeping the child small, keeping them mentally stunted. That was so that, excuse me, that was to prevent them from leaving her, to seek sympathy, to get sympathy. But Kronos was very much so, his children couldn't be stronger or more important than him. This could also represent like generational curses. Like if you think about like some families have like a history of like being unsupportive with their children, and like keeping okay, if this is about like breaking some kind of curse or breaking, and I say curse, I think of curses as just like psychological patterns and conditioning. You might believe something different, just that's what that reminds me of, or that's how I view curses. Breaking something, maybe even someone like trying to limit you or keep you small, or whatever this has to do with. This could even just be storytelling. Creating illusions. The beldam wove illusions around the whole situation to entrap the girl, to use her. She needed her. She had done it to a bunch of little children before. She to suck their energy. To suck their energy. Using someone. Because I'm thinking about how parents who have that issue, sucking the energy from their child. Literally, if you think about it like that, they're like stealing their life force to get sympathy from other people. Yeah, that very much can be like a generational pattern. Ooh, like in different ways. What time is it? Jesus. Goodness, these are getting longer and longer. Sorry, guys. Okay, and then sacrifice here. Sitting here with these this beautiful energy right here. Learning what sacrifices are important. Maybe even like creating like a pros and cons about something. Hi, baby. Pros and cons. understanding, like, sacrifice can also be beautiful if you're making it for love. If you're choosing um to, you could even say, like, maybe um break a pattern in order to create a new pattern is a form of sacrifice. It's like knowing what's worth it. So if you could even say, like, relationship patterns, breaking a relationship pattern in order to create another pattern, it's not going to be a fun thing to do because people tend to be drawn to what they know, especially if they were raised a certain way. And so actually breaking the pattern, even if it's for like healthier love, can be hard and can hurt. And so it's like, what's worth it? I'm wanting better love in my life. This is to do with like actual a loving relationship. Like, I'm wanting more, a certain kind of love. I'm wanting this kind of love. I'm wanting this in my life. What's worthy of being broken in order to create this for myself? Are there patterns in my life that need to be broken so I can have this in my life? And knowing what's worth it, knowing what to put the hard work into in order to create that. Not just settling for what you know, even if it's like toxic. I know a lot of people, it's because it's what they know. It's easier to do it that way, even if it's more not what you want. Baby, you're sitting on everything. Yeah, so sacrifice. Yeah, there's beauty in sacrifice. Knowing like what sacrifices are important, even for a partner. Like, even to be with someone. Yeah. Yeah, sacrifice can be quite a beautiful thing. I'm just thinking of like, yeah, just sacrifice can be quite a beautiful thing. When it's when you're doing it for love and for something that is true, like true love. Willing to do the hard work needed for what you want. Okay. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. Sometimes just messages come through in the readings that I really don't even want to talk about, or I don't even want to just, discuss, but they come through for a reason, and I trust that, and I try to do my best with what comes through. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. Look up, if this is important for you, or it feels important, look up Fences, that movie with August Wilson as the playwright, and Denzel Washington is one of the characters, and it's free on YouTube. So yeah, look that up. Look up Coraline. Look up Munchausen syndrome, or Munchausen syndrome by proxy. See if that has, even in a metaphorical way, just see what that has to do with your life right here. Also, embodiment work. This doesn't have to be with the god Ra, but since he's here, like, maybe look into that. Like, I don't even know if there's an embodiment thing for Ra now. But yeah, embodiment work, primal work. Yeah, Michael Jordan videos, motivational videos, or Kobe Bryant. Whatever's calling to you here. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. I hope you got some good alchemy, some questions to ask in your own life, some answers, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.